All right, thanks, Juliana. Now, Chris Jones joins us from Edward Jones to help educate us and make us a little bit smarter this morning.
We'll try.
So, what are we talking about?
Well, we're going to talk about life's inflection points, but first I need to give a little disclaimer here. Edward Jones, its employees and financial advisors are not estate planners and cannot provide tax or legal advice. Each individual should consult their estate planning attorney or qualified tax advisor regarding their situation. So we'll start with that.
All right. Well, and so what are inflection points if we don't know what they are?
By inflection point definition, it's a term used in mathematics, but it's also used in terms of historical or events, technological events. Two examples would be, say, the Industrial Revolution in 1900 and then the invention of the internet, since those two events really changed the lives of all individual Americans or citizens. And when it comes to personal inflection points, there's basically four. Those four would be when someone gets married. Second would be having a child. Third would be, unfortunately, for those who have to go through divorce and what the ramifications would be. And then the fourth major inflection point that affects everyone would be retirement, when people decide to retire.
And so I'm actually getting married in a month. So what do I need to know going in? I know that I'm a planner and I was always having a piggy bank when I was little, but I know my fiance is also a big spender. So are those the kinds of things that I need to be looking at?
Yes, those would be two. That's a good example of that, because in a married couple, each individual is going to have different priorities. Some people are going to want to be a saver, some are going to want to be a spender, some are going to want to be very conservative, some might want to be more aggressive. I think it's probably, and then also, do you mix your finances together under one umbrella, or do you keep them separated? I think in each marriage it would be wise for each of the two couples to discuss those individually. You don't want to find out any hidden surprises later on down the road in marriage. So it's probably good to kind of lay the cards on the table, so to speak. Maybe bring to the table what each individual's assets and or liabilities might be when it comes to a balance sheet. See what resources one has. You also want to look at liquidity and basically what your goals would be at that point in your life. So marriage is a major change in people's lives, but it's one that you should try to have open communications and discussions to make sure that there's no hidden surprises further down the road.
And we don't have time to talk about the other issues, but children, retirement, and divorce, and those are the same kind of issues as thinking about all of the things that could affect that and how it changes the course of your life.
I think in every one of those, the goals and the individual, what people are thinking is important should be re-evaluated. Like when you get married or have children, you want to look at you want to make sure you have plenty of life insurance to cover in case anything would happen when you're young. You want to make sure you change all your beneficiaries to make sure everything is up to date. And then finally, you want to make sure you've got some estate planning thrown in there. You want to make sure you've got things lined up so that if anything were to happen, they would go pass on directly to your family without having to go through the problems and obstacles of probate. So I think all of them are important, but I think the one that affects everyone would probably be retirement, marriage. I think those are probably the two most important.
All right, well, thanks for joining us.